Hey guys, welcome to another edition of At Ping. Thanks for joining me here in my backyard. We got some good questions this week, and first one comes from Greg Ergel. I think I'm saying that right. Sorry if I messed that up, buddy. He says, "Do you believe CM31 should have been allowed to restart after the red flag in Atlanta? Not just from a medical perspective, but in fairness, he was a lap down. Huge gift in the title chase, in my opinion. Your thoughts? Appreciate your take." So, um, yes, I think it was definitely beneficial for him. But I think as long as it was legit, then I'm okay with it. There's been times where guys will go down and they'll lay there intentionally to instigate a red flag, knowing that they're fine, but that they're going to be way back. And then they jump up, run to their bike, and get back in the race. I think we can all, having judged from that crash that he was not faking it. I mean, my man got flipped around and smacked and beat up. So, was it a good idea for them to let him go back into the race? I wasn't there. I couldn't assess him. But I trust Dr. Botner. He's an ER trauma doctor, so that is his forte. I think that the assessment that they could do in that brief amount of time is not super thorough. I mean, it's literally follow my eyes. You make sure the pupils are both reactive and equal in size. And if he knows where he is, who he is, what happened, and what day it is, then, those are the standards we use to determine if somebody's alert and oriented or if they are having any type of amnesia or anything like that. So he obviously was able to get back on, get a third. It was awesome. So, I think they made the right call there. It was a violent crash, obviously, and I think just the optics of it looked really bad. But the fact that he was able to go out and function and get a third, I think shows that it was a good call. They made a good call there. So, and I think that there's been a lot of argument about this all week long. I think two things can be true at once, right? So, Cameron's a stud. He showed that he's got a lot of grit and he really wants this title. For him to come back from that crash and go out and put in a solid ride to get a third is incredible. And he deserves the praise that he's getting for being gritty and determined and doing that, right? I also think that we put him in a really bad position for Atlanta 3 because people were, rah, 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 Cameron's a stud. This is the new standard of, toughness for motocross guys. This is how motocross guys are supposed to be. Well, then when he has that big one at Atlanta 3, I think that was maybe a sketchy decision because even when he talks about coming up short on that quad, when he did that, his legs buckled. I thought it was his shoulder that gave out and he just fell into the bike, but he said it was his leg. He did an interview with Real Talk 447 with Jeff and Ricky. If you haven't listened to that podcast, it's pretty interesting. But he says that when he cased that quad, his leg just gave out. And that's why he kind of fell to the side of the bike and ended up crashing so violently. And I think we put him in a place, of course he has pressure to go out and try to continue to stay in the hunt for that title. But when you've got the whole sport patting him on the back saying, "Oh, Cameron, you're so tough, dude. You're such a stud." What's he supposed to do in that situation? Right after that crash, he was clearly never the same again. He made decisions, in my opinion, that put him and other riders in a lot of risk. Chris Blos. And I'm not saying Cameron did any of that stuff intentionally, but he crashed like 6 times, throughout that day. And if you've got weak points, your whether it's your shoulders, your legs, he has a groin injury, he couldn't even put his left foot out. That makes you ride, the way you're not supposed to ride, and you're not thinking clearly, you're worried about your injury. I don't think he was all mentally there. I think it was, and again, we're motocross guys, we all ride herd, I get it. I think this is a bad cultural thing we've got in our sport where we just expect guys to ride hurt, just grit it out, you could do it, you're tough. Well, yeah, you are until, your body gives out and you have a crash like he did and you get yourself really hurt. So I get it, he's going for a championship. I don't judge him for trying, but man, we put our guys in really bad spots. And so like I said, I'm a Cameron fan. I thought what he did was awesome. I'm glad he didn't get hurt worse. I guess that's my point. This is from Kurt. Just says Kurt. I was impressed with McAdoo's poise after Atlanta 3. I would have punched Marchbanks in the throat. What are your thoughts on that move, and what would Ping have done? I would have knocked all of his front teeth down his throat with a tire iron. But that is probably not the right thing to do. I was, just like you, so impressed with McAdoo's poise on the podium. He never said a word bad about Marchbanks. Those two were teammates before. They rode together at Club MX. They had some history. But Cameron, got the ride there at Pro Circuit. Marchbanks didn't stay. I thought it was very interesting. I actually asked Mitch, hey, why didn't you keep Marchbanks? I thought that was strange. He won Daytona. He showed a lot of potential. And Mitch didn't tell me too much, but he just said, he kind of hemmed and hawed. And I was like, And I think we saw why he didn't keep him. That was a piss-poor decision. That was one of the dumbest moves I've seen in a long time. And I think Garrett Marchbanks' career is going to do one of two things. He'll either need to start winning right now to continue to have a career in this sport, or he'll wind up on sea-level rides and fizzling out. That showed a complete lack of maturity. I think it was disgusting. And if he pulls that on somebody else, I don't think they're going to be as polite as Cameron was. So kudos to him for being professional. Kids, if you want to see how you do it, how you handle something like that, that's a great example. All right, our third question. Are you a fan of the Speedway races? They can be good, but it feels more like Daytona, a Supercross motocross hybrid. That's from Brent S. Thanks for the question, Brent. No, I hate them. I think that they are not Supercross, in my opinion. I like Daytona. That's sort of the one outlier that we have. It's got a long history of being part of the sport. It's rough. It's all kinds of things. And they've Supercrossed it up, man. If you go back and look in the 90s, it was the middle of the day. It was hotter than balls. And the track was way longer. It was a minute 20 lap times usually. Just a completely different animal. And now it's at night. It's more Supercrossy, which I guess is fine, but it's definitely lost some of the history of it. But I don't think we should make a habit of running a bunch of these. I think the reason Feld did it is simply it was one of the places they could go racing. These stadiums where it's, all the seats are right next to each other, the COVID police aren't going to let you do it. So this was just what they had to do to go racing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see Feld keeping this going once this all peters out. I think we'll be back in the regular stadiums. And for me, I like it better. I don't know if I guess you could ask the fans that were there, but it seems like you're up in the stadium. You're a million miles from the track. It would just feel like you're really far away. And for the riders, I don't think it is Supercross. It is a hybrid. It's much faster, and I think that it makes it harder to pass. And I will say it does make it even more impressive that Cooper Webb came out and won that final round. He struggled the whole week there, and I was talking to his prior mechanic, Eric Gass. Worked with him at Star when he won his championships there, and he said, Coop's not a guy that really likes high-speed stuff. He prefers technical and more difficult, tighter. So this was way out of his wheelhouse. And for him to just dig in, and even in the interviews and stuff after, he even made comments like, sometimes you got to get squirrely to get it done. So you could see that he wasn't in his comfort zone. He totally pushed through that, and I think probably drove the final nail in the coffin for this title. Time will tell. Obviously, it's too early to call it, but man, what a big finish at Atlanta 3. So again, I'm not a fan of these things. Like I said, the faster guys are going, the more they're going to get hurt when they go down. I'm always a fan of tighter and slower. Send the guys up in the air, make it tighter, make it more technical, slow it down. The racing will be better. It's really tough to come in and try to make a good block pass. Ask Garrett Marchbanks when it's high speed and really open like that. But if you slow it down and tighten it up, guys can come in and kind of bang and bump and still stay on two wheels. So I don't think these tracks are conducive to really good racing, although we did have a couple of fun races there throughout those series. I think it's a better move to stay back to regular stadiums, my opinion. Hey, well, that's at Ping for this week. I want to remind you guys we're gonna continue to evolve this a little bit, coming to you from different places each time. And if you want to send in your question on video, just take a little selfie video asking the question, or take an audio note, send us an audio note, but email it to us and we'll show it on the thing here, rather than me reading it off a card. So we're just trying to kind of change it up, make it a little more interactive. Send your videos to ping@vitalmx.com, and we'll feature you here on the column. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.